You ever finance a dream you haven't earned yet? You convinced yourself the bonus was coming, the raise was around the corner, and the money would just appear. I've been there. But here's the cold truth. Most guys don't wreck their lives buying things they can't afford. They wreck them buying pieces of a future they haven't actually built. You're sipping champagne on a ramen budget. You're wondering why your bank account screams like a smoke alarm every time you log in. Wanting more is not the problem. Ambition is the baseline. The problem is your math. Today, we're retiring that fantasy. I'm going to show you how to dream big without lying to yourself and how to build a foundation that won't collapse the second life throws a wrench in your gears. If you are tired of the emergency math and ready to quit renting your life from the bank, pull up a chair. We're doing the work. Let's get into it. Welcome to The Useful Man, a channel about learning, growing, and staying useful in a world that gets stranger by the day. These are the field notes of life. Not a fantasy life, not a privileged life, and not an influencer life, just real life. In my life, I carry scars. Deep scars you cannot see, earned the hard way. That's why I made this channel. Maybe you have no one and nowhere to turn. Maybe we can find the answers out here together. Let me ask you, when that paycheck hits, who gets paid first? Think about it. Because it's probably not you. The mortgage gets paid, the truck note, the insurance, the electric, the phone, even the streaming services you forgot existed all get paid. Everybody gets a vote. By the time they're done helping themselves, the scraps left on the table are what you call your money. Most people spend 100% of everything they make, and usually next month's money too. Every dollar has somebody else's name on it before it even lands into your account. The moment the deposit hits, a committee meeting breaks out. The mortgage wants something, the truck wants something, the credit cards are screaming for their cut, everyone's standing there with their hand out. While the one person who actually earned the cash, you are stuck in the back of the room, waiting for permission to have a seat. If you've been doing that for 20 years, don't feel bad. It's normal. But today, we're going to cut through the stop accepting normal and start questioning it. I'm not here to introduce you to anything strange. I'm here to introduce a simple idea. Before anybody else gets a vote, you get one. Not the bank, not the credit cards, not the truck note. The guy at the drive-thru who somehow turns a burger into a $20 financial event. You come first. I call it the 10% club. The requirements are simple. The first 10 cents out of every dollar belongs to you. Not for a shopping spree, not for a new toy, and not for another payment. It's for freedom. Today, I'm going to show you how to take that 10% slice and turn it into a debt-crushing machine that starts buying your paycheck back, one bill at a time. Most videos want you to sit there, nod along, and feel motivated for 20 minutes before going right back to your old life. This is not one of those videos. In 30 seconds, going to ask you to hit pause. Not when you get around to it, like right now. Grab your paycheck stub, open your banking app, or find a napkin. I don't care what you write it on, but guessing doesn't count. We're finding your number. And I don't mean that impressive salary figure on your hiring paperwork. I mean the cash that actually lands in your account after everyone else has their bite. That is your reality. Now, here's the math, and don't worry, you don't need a degree or a calculator the size of a microwave. Take your monthly take home and move the decimal point one spot to the left. That's it. That's your 10%. 3,000, that's $300. 2,000, that's $200. Now you just need to know where the decimal lives. That's all you need to know. Now physically write that number down, not in your head. Put it on a sticky note. Tape it to the dashboard. Tattoo it on the cat if you have to. I don't care. Just write it down. From this point forward, that number has a job. And this plan only works if you're looking at it. So go ahead, pause the video, find your number, write it down, and I'll be right here waiting for you. Got your number? Good. Now, we're going to do something most people avoid, like raccoons avoid a garden hose. We're looking directly at the problem. I want you to list every single debt you've got. Credit cards, vehicle loans, that personal loan from a chapter of life we don't discuss in public, medical bills, buy now, pay later gadgets, furniture payments, the whole mess. If it has a balance that can eventually one day hit zero, it goes on the list. Don't leave anything off just because it makes you uncomfortable. Debt grows best in the dark, and we're turning the lights on. To be clear, your electric, water, and phone bills don't go here. Those are operating expenses, the cost of keeping the machine running. We're not hunting those. We're hunting the things that can actually eliminate debts with a beginning and an ending and a future where they disappear forever. Write every one of them down. Not in your head, not in some spreadsheet. You'll never open it again, and you know it. Write them where you can physically see them. Then rank them from the smallest to the largest. Smallest at the top, largest at the bottom. I know someone's yelling at the screen, Liam, that's backwards. You're supposed to pay the highest interest rate first. Sure, yeah, maybe a calculator agrees with you, but calculators don't have emotions. Calculators don't get discouraged, and they don't quit 6 months into it because they aren't seeing progress. People do. Getting out of debt is a behavior problem, not a math problem. That's why I want you to grab a pen and a paper. I don't care if you're doing this on a sticky note, a napkin, or scratching it in the dirt. It has to be physical. When you use your hand and your eyes and your brain that puts the ink on the page, it hits different than when you do it on a digital app. I want you to feel that first win. I want you to draw a hard line through that debt and write paid in full right next to it when it happens. Okay, stay with me. Momentum matters. Winning matters. Every debt you kill is proof to your own brain that this thing is actually working. We start with the smallest target, not because it's mathematically perfect, because it is psychologically powerful. In a long fight, the fastest path isn't the one that saves the most pennies. It's the one that keeps you in the game long enough to reach the finish line. Here's where the plan actually starts doing the work. Don't overcomplicate this. Human beings have a talent for taking a simple idea and turning it into some committee meeting. This is not that committee meeting. This is a sequence. You keep making minimal payments on every debt on that list, okay? Every single one. Faithfully a Sunday morning. No missed payments, no skipped payments, no creative interpretations of these instructions. But that smallest debt sitting on top of your list, that's your first priority. That is where we're going to put all your extra payments. Take that 10% number that you wrote down earlier on the back of that pizza box, and I want you to stack every penny of it right on top of that smallest debt's minimal payment. Don't split it up. Don't sprinkle it around. Don't spread it across 5 different debts like you're trying to feed a barnyard. Get your ducks in a row. Pick one target, focus your energy, and clear it off the table. Now, when you send that extra money in, make sure it's applied to the principal. That word matters. The principal is the actual debt. The real balance, the thing that we're trying to eliminate. Interest is just a fee they charge you for the privilege of carrying that debt around. You want every extra dollar chewing directly into that balance itself. Let me show you how this math changes the game. So say your smallest debt is $500 and the minimal payment is $25 a month. At that pace, that debt hangs around like a distant cousin who came for the weekend and somehow they stayed until Thanksgiving. But say your 10% number is $300. Now you're throwing $325 a month at that $500 balance. That debt doesn't survive long, 2 months, maybe less. And it's gone, it's finished. You cross it off the list. Here's what happens next. The first time you pay one off, something shifts. You feel it. For the first time, you aren't just treading water, you're actually eliminating the problem. You drew a line through it, you wrote paid in full next to it. You realize that list just got shorter and the weight is off your shoulders. That got a little bit lighter. The system worked exactly as it was supposed to. Understand this, that first debt isn't usually the biggest or the most expensive. It's your confidence builder. It's the proof. It's the moment you stop hoping this works and start knowing it works. When that first debt disappears, take a minute and enjoy it. I'm serious. Go pat yourself on the back, take your wife out to dinner, or spend a Saturday doing something you actually enjoy. Celebrate the win. Human beings need victories. It's how you stay in the fight. Just don't confuse celebrating the win with abandoning the plan. The goal wasn't to get excited and run right back into debt. The goal was to acknowledge it, process the progress, enjoy the daylight, and to get right back to work. Because you've still got targets on that list. That's your first win. And once a man tastes that first victory, he's ready for the next round. Now pay attention. This is where most folks fall off the wagon. That first debt is gone, resolved. Suddenly that monthly payment is back in your pocket. Maybe it's $25, maybe it's $100. Whatever it is, it's yours again. And immediately your brain starts whispering, I've earned a little breathing room. Maybe I'll treat myself. Slow down, cowboy. Don't spend it. Don't let it wander off. That money just got promoted. Take that freed up payment of $25 and stack it right on top of your original 10%. If your 10% was $300 and you just freed up $25, now you're throwing $325 at the debt number 2 on top of what you were already paying. Now look at what just happened. You didn't get a raise. You didn't work overtime. Your income didn't change, but your financial momentum just increased. That's the magic of the snowball. Every debt you resolve leaves behind more resources, and every piece of that funding gets rolled into the next fight. Debt 2 gets cleared, and its payment joins the pile. Debt 3 gets hit even harder. Somewhere along the way, the system starts doing more work than you are. The machine starts feeding itself. The snowball grows, and the payments get larger, and the victories come faster. Those debts that once looked impossible, now they're starting to look a little nervous. That's why the system works. It's built on momentum. Every debt you eliminate hands its power to the next battle. Every victory makes the next one easier. Before long, that pile that you've been carrying around for years starts disappearing faster than you ever thought possible. That's when this stops feeling like a budget and starts feeling like a plan. Stop for a second and look what's actually happening. This is where it gets interesting. By the time you get to the bigger debts at the bottom of your list, you aren't just throwing that original 10% at out anymore. You're throwing that 10% plus the payment from debt number 1, plus debt number 2, plus debt number 3, plus everything else that you cleared along the way. What started as a small snowball is now rolling downhill with serious force. You might be hitting a debt with $600, $700, maybe $800 a month or more. A balance that used to feel permanent suddenly starts shrinking right in front of your eyes. I want this to sit with you. You didn't get a second job. You did not win the lottery. No wealthy uncle left you a suitcase full of cash. No financial wizard waved a magic wand. Nothing outside your life changed. Same income, Same job, same household, same paycheck, same you. Again, same paycheck, different system. That's the lesson. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a bigger paycheck to solve a problem that's actually caused by a lack of direction. You didn't create more money. You gave your money a mission. You took the dollars that you were leaking out of your life in a dozen directions and lined them up behind a single objective. That's where the acceleration comes from. Not more income, better aim. Eventually, something almost funny happens. The machine that used to eat your paycheck every month starts getting eaten itself. The debt shrinks, the balance vanishes. Your creditors start losing their territory. Best of all, the discipline that you've been building stops feeling like a chore. It starts doing all the heavy lifting for you. That's when you realize the truth. This was never a math problem. The math is easy. This is a behavior problem. Once you get your behavior pointed in the right direction, the math stops working against you and starts working for you. That's when the machine finally starts running in your favor. Now, picture this day. The list is gone. Every debt you wrote down earlier has a line through it. The credit card, gone. The loans and medical bills, the history, all that stuff on that paper is just covered with victories. So, what happens next? I'll tell you. Your paycheck finally starts staying where it belongs. With you. All those minimal payments that used to march right out the front door every month like little financial soldiers reporting for duty, they stop marching. They're staying home. For the first time in years, maybe decades, your future income isn't spoken for before it even arrives. It isn't promised to a bank, a lender, or some piece of paper that you signed years ago and barely remember. It's yours. And brother, that changes a man. The cash flow comes back, the options come back, the flexibility, it's all yours again. And that low humming stress that you've been carrying around for so long, you forget it was even there. It finally goes quiet. You stop checking your bank account every 5 minutes. You stop panicking when the mail shows up. You stop treating every unexpected bill like a 4-alarm house fire. Don't get me wrong, life still happens. The transmission still quits, the dog still finds creative ways to get expensive, and a water heater will always wait until the worst possible moment to retire. But the difference is you can handle it. You're responding now, not reacting. You're making decisions from a position of strength, not panic. And that is what freedom actually looks like. It's not a yacht, it's not a private jet, and it certainly isn't some guru standing next to a rented Lamborghini. Freedom is a hell of a lot more ordinary than that. It's sleeping through the night. It's opening the mail without your blood pressure spiking. It's knowing a surprise isn't automatically a crisis. It's having real choices. And the funny part, from the outside, nobody might even notice. You won't necessarily look richer or more successful, but you'll know. Because for the first time in a long time, your paycheck actually belongs to the guy who earned it. And brother, that's a damn good feeling. Now, here's the reality check for when this video ends. The 10% club, it's a powerful tool. And how you clear the debt, build the momentum, and get your paycheck back. But winning the fight isn't the same thing as staying out of it. I've seen it 1,000 times. Someone fights their way out of the hole and finally gets a little breathing room, and then 2 years later, wham bam, thank you man, right back where they started. Why? Because the debt disappeared. But the habits didn't. And sooner or later, those old habits rebuild exactly what discipline worked so hard to destroy. That's where we're headed next. And honestly, that's the most important lesson of this entire series. It's called Living on 90%. Because if the 10% club can get you free, living on 90% is how you stay free. It's how you build a household that operates below its means on purpose, and how you create margin, and how you stop treating every raise like a permission to start spending more money. It's how you keep your freedom from quietly leaking out of your life one payment at a time. Eventually, something interesting happens. The discipline stops feeling like discipline. It just becomes the way that you live, the way that you think, the way that you make decisions. That's when real financial independence actually starts showing up. So between now and then, do your homework, find your number, build your list, pick your first target, and start rolling that snowball downhill. Next time, we're going to talk about what happens when the debt is gone. And brother, that's where the story gets interesting. Thanks for spending some useful time with me. I better move along before somebody starts taking notes. I'll catch you on the next one.